I don't think you could argue that porn is a net positive on society.
I don't think there's any value to it, really. Maybe you could say it's not a problem in certain ways, but I don't think it really can help you in any way.
I've seen a lot of people make the argument that it can help couples to explore things sexually. It can help individuals to like be a bit more kinky and stuff. And it's like, yeah, but why can't you explore that in the confines of like a relationship?
Here's something really interesting. You probably know this, but I think a lot of times men, right, we look to have sex with lots of different women. Lots of times the women are into kinkier sex, and a lot of men are totally unaware of that.
Okay, let's.
I knew you would know that. I think a lot of men are totally clueless about this, and they get like mad when their girls want to try weird things. And
well, okay, so like let's look at this. One of the best, I think that might be the best-selling non-fiction book of all time was 50 Shades of Grey. Why was that so popular? It taps into something deep in female psychology, I believe, female evolutionary psychology, which is fundamentally sexual psychology, right? You have phenomenons like Hibistophilia. Hibistophilia is sexual attraction to killers, which is only exhibited by women. Dudes don't get Hibistophilia.
Yeah, I don't turn on my serial killer chicks.
Right? So look at the guy, that Luigi, what's his name, who shot the pharmaceutical company CEO, whatever. Have you seen the pictures of like the courtroom after, like him coming out of the courtroom? And just throngs of women looking for him. All of the serial killers that you might know of, they all had love letters written to them in jail. Obviously not all women are like this. Dudes aren't doing this. Like it's exclusively women doing this, right? That's the phenomenon known as Hibistophilia. So there's something in female sexual and evolutionary psychology that is attracted to violence. You were a fighter. I guarantee I'm
very aware of this.
No problem getting laid. Like women are attracted to men who are
capable of violence, at least.
Capable. That's the correct term. Women are attracted to men who are capable of violence. Yeah. Because what does that mean? It actually means that he can
protect her. You could kill someone to protect that girl if you had to.
Precisely.
Again, they want the guy nice still. I'm always very nice stuff, but they have the ability, if things got bad, you could kill someone to protect them.
Yes. The balance we like to strike in society is a man who is capable of violence, but restrains it and only does it when it's necessary to protect his loved ones. That's what we want.
But they'll still prefer the crazy killer over the guy who's totally weak and won't do anything.
Correct. Here's a really interesting bit of information. This comes from the book Everybody Lies, Big Data, New Data by Seth Stevens Davidowitz. Among the top Pornhub searches by women in a genre of pornography that, I warn you, will disturb many readers. Sex featuring violence against women. Fully 25% of female searches for straight porn emphasize the pain and or humiliation of the woman. Painful anal crying, public disgrace, and extreme brutal gang bang, for example. 5% look for non-consensual sex. This is women searching for this. 5% of women look for non-consensual sex terms like rape or forced sex, even though these videos are banned on Pornhub. And search rates for all these terms are at least twice as common among women as they are among men.
Yes, I'm not shocked at all, but I bet a lot of people will be hearing that.
And a book that I recommend a lot for a lot of my fans is a book called My Secret Garden by Nancy Friday. So she put like an advertisement, I believe, out in a newspaper and asked for women to write in anonymously, writing in their sexual fantasies. And she took these and she just compiled them into this book. And you only need to get like a quarter of the way through that book before your perception of women's sexuality will completely change. Like there's a lot of very freaky stuff in there. Along the lines of what we just talked about, I remember reading that book in my mid-20s and I'm like, what on earth? And prior to that, I had this perception of women as being sort of sugar and spice and all things nice, and they're innocent creatures, and it's men who are the really perverted ones. I'm sorry, but
getting famous for being a fighter, I learned that. I was like a little in shock. Then I started being a fighter. Then you realize like, oh no, I think this isn't. Again, not all women, but a lot of women's psychology are into some crazy shit.
Like the number of women who respond very positively to these kinds of sex acts, with the big caveat of being done by a guy who they are sexually attracted to and who knows what he's doing. And that's the key thing here. Like, because guys can get into trouble. A lot of guys will get into big trouble, right? They start trying to do these, you could call them extreme, you could call them like more dominant physical sex acts on a woman, and she's not into it, or she's not into him that way. That's another big thing. Because she might
all of a sudden she's being abused or raped. That's why it's such a fine line.
Because that same girl, she might enjoy getting choked out by Jake Shields, but Joe Schmo over here, he only gets missionary position. That absolutely happens.
Better get consent, know how to read body language, know how to...
Well, that's the thing. It's like, I used to work for kink.com, right? I shot a lot of scenes for kink.com. Kink.com is the biggest BDSM. Every time I worked, not every time, but 90% of the time when I worked for kink.com, in fact, probably would be 100% of the time, because I worked with a lot of girls who came back repeatedly to work for kink.com because they loved working for it so much. And when I had a new girl, we always did like pre and post consent interviews. So we'd interview the girl
with what they're okay with,
go over what they're into, what they're okay with, cool, like are they excited, why do they want to come shoot, and then after the scene was done, same thing, how was your experience, did we cross any lines, but the number of girls who are super excited to be working for kink.com, who had fantasies of being tied up, being spanked, choked, whipped, ball gagged, like all kinds means of all manner of things, you know, like literally like using electric shocks and shit. The amount of girls who used it as an opportunity to explore something new and kinky because they trusted it. Because they trusted like the performer who was vetted, i.e. me, by the guy who's running the show, who's a super experienced BDSM dom. They trusted it. And that's kind of what I wanted to get, the meta point I was trying to make.
This
was
is
like,
be very careful and trust that you're doing the shit.
You need to know what you're fucking doing. You don't want to do this shit without any knowledge or understanding. I've got videos on YouTube, so go check them out. I baby step guys through a lot of this stuff. That you need that because especially in this day and age, like if she's your girlfriend, your wife, and you guys are playing around, you want to try some new stuff, you've got a bit more leeway. But if it's a brand new girl and you're going to try something extreme,
shit, you better be very careful. What's
you are fucking done.